Hey guys, Pansy here and welcome to my video money making guide. This video has been a long time coming and a lot of people have asked for it, so here it is. If you're a new or returning player, you'll find this guide really helpful. I go through various methods to make money, so be sure to watch the entire video. These include both active and passive methods. We'll be going through only easy to learn methods, so nothing here is complex and anyone can pick these up. I've personally used all of these methods stated in the guide and they've carried me to where I am today, so it's definitely possible to make billions with these methods. Finally, please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support me, the best way to do so is to share my video with your friends, and I hope you guys enjoy. Section 1. Scrolls for profit. Scrolls are a really good way to make money at low AP levels. These can get quite tedious and boring, but they have no other prerequisite other than having the scroll items, which you can farm or directly buy off the central marketplace. There are three types of scroll items, which are ancient relic crystal shards, the forbidden books, and scroll written in ancient language. For the ancient relic crystal shard, I'd recommend you have at least 100 AP. For the forbidden books, at least 130 to 140 AP. And for the scroll written in ancient language, at least 160 AP. Now you can definitely do all of these with less AP than what I said, but what really matters is how quickly you can do them, because that's what's going to affect how much money you can make per hour, along with the prices of the scroll items themselves and memory fragments. So this is the scroll we're looking for. Now this has to be used at a certain location. Now in order to find the location, if you don't know it, just right click it and click enter, and the auto path should show up on your map. So here's the location we have to go. Right here. So let's head over there. And once you're at the spot, you can just right click the scroll and it'll summon the boss monsters. Once you kill the boss, make sure you loot him, and also open up your black spirit and receive your reward bundles. Now this is going to constitute for a majority of the money you make by doing scrolls. Now let's open it up. So we got 4 memory fragments. Considering that ancient relic crystal shards are only 750k each here on NA, this is actually really good profit. You could easily be making 35 to 40 mil an hour at the AP brackets I recommend. And as you move on to the next tier of scrolls, you'll start making even more money. So let's take a look at the forbidden books next. Now for the forbidden books, place them in a plus sign the same way we did the relic crystal shards. Combine them, you get the Guardian scrolls. So if you right click, you'll see the marked location on the map. Now let's summon it. Once you kill the boss, be sure to loot it. And it has a chance to drop the memory fragments and everything. Then take your reward from the black spirit. Now these also provide memory fragments, and that's where you get the bulk of the money here as well. And you can make about, I'd say, 60 to 70 mil an hour if the prices of the forbidden books and the memory fragments are good and you have a decent kill speed. Now last but not least, we have the scroll written in ancient language. These are the most expensive but most lucrative scrolls you can get. So combine these in a plus sign and make the summoning scroll, and let's summon the monster. Alright, the boss is dead. Loot him, and we got a memory fragment. And the black spirit will give us 2 reward bundles. And once we open them, we get more memory fragments. And there we go. So let's analyze how we should decide whether doing these scrolls are good or if there's a better method. So you'd only want to be doing relic crystal shards if you are low AP. If you have a medium level AP like above 150, you generally want to do only forbidden books and PILAFE scrolls because they're more money. So how I determine whether they're worth doing or not is I check the price of the forbidden books, or for example, let's do the ancient language scrolls. So right now it's 1.1 mil usually. So you can buy a bunch of these for this price. But personally, if I have time, I just put pre-orders throughout the day, and then in the evening or something when I have enough scrolls, I'll just do them all, because there's a huge difference between the general price and what you could be buying it for. So make sure you take advantage of that. And then next you want to see the memory fragment price. So as we can see, it's around, I think if I was to sell right now, I could get around 1.04 mil for each one. So if I was to buy scrolls for 1.1 mil, then selling it for 1.04, it's not very lucrative. You will be making profit, but not that much. But if I was to buy the scrolls for 1.03, then I'd be making a ton of profit. The amount of money I can make doing ancient language scrolls is anywhere from 70 mil to 100 mil an hour, and that depends on the prices of the memory fragments versus the prices of the ancient language scrolls. Now, if the ancient language scrolls are at 1.5 mil each, as long as the memory fragments are also selling for a 1.47 or 1.5, you still make a ton of money. So the defining factor is going to be the difference between the prices. So how you calculate approximately how much money you can make is for every one ancient language scrolls you use, you get 1.7 memory fragments. That means for every 5 or 1 scroll summon, you're gonna get about 7 memory fragments. And also along with that, you get hunter seals, you get black armor stones sometimes, and some trash loot. So combining everything, you make quite a bit of profit. So just keep in mind the prices on the marketplace, and you can choose whether you want to do these or not. Now, forbidden books generally give about 1.4 memory fragments for each book, but once again, the forbidden books are much cheaper, so sometimes it's better to do those instead. So just keep an eye on the market, see how the trends are, and try to put in your pre-orders and get them cheap, and you'll maximize your profit. Section 2, grind spots. Now let's go over grinding. While scrolls are going to be the most lucrative of the methods I'm showing you, and doing scrolls 10 hours a day is almost equivalent to a bill a day, I wouldn't recommend doing it personally because it burns you out. Trust me, the day before Guardian's Awakening came, I bought 1,400 scrolls in anticipation of the memory fragment prices going up, which they did, and it took me an entire day to do all those summons, and it burnt me out. Like, it was so tiring, but I made a ton of money. So if you can do it, by all means, respect to you. But if you can't, do throw in some life skilling and grinding in the mix, so you keep it interesting. And with that, we're gonna start off with the grind spots. I'm gonna show you a little trick I know with a ranger first, and then I'm gonna show you the other spots. So while these aren't competitive with doing scrolls for money, they're still pretty good to keep in mind if you're a beginner or a returning player. Hey guys, for the first method, I'm going to show you how to farm on horseback as a ranger. Anyone can do this. You don't need much gear in order to be successful at this. The reason I'm showing you this is because there's plenty of times when there's events involving random drops for mobs, which translate to money. Like for example, the April Fool's event, where it dropped fake accessories, but some of them turn out to be real. I actually got about 3 accessories doing this, so that's why I want to show you guys. In order to do this, you need a ranger, preferably at level 56 plus, because that's when you get the last absolute bow skill, as well as max out your razor wind skill, because these are the 2 skills you'll be using, nothing else. You could also get some of the other skills if you want, but that's up to you. So to show you an example, I'm going to be killing Rudums for 10 minutes, and all you need is your ranger and a horse with stirrups, so you can use mounted attacks. Alright, here's the timer, and I'm using the basic Oasis food buff, as well as a Destruction Spirit Stone, because it just gives you a little bit of attack speed, and attack speed's really important here. And let me take out my pets so we can loot. Alright. Alright, so I did a calculation of the total now, and we totaled in 10 minutes 5.43 mil. From all of this stuff, that's including selling all of the items I can sell and factoring in the tax for the marketplace, and that totals to about over 32 mil in 1 hour. Now this is really low effort, that is excluding the event drops, which is the main reason I'm showing you this spot. So this is definitely an option for lower level players who want something which makes them over 30 mil an hour, and also this spot can drop relic fragments, so it's definitely worth keeping in mind. If you're a main ranger, then you have it easy, but otherwise you can do this with any level ranger. Just change the spot you're at, and then the highest level zones are likely going to be Rudums and Mancha Forest, and yeah, this is a decent spot for starting off. The next spot I'd like to recommend is Helms. As you've seen in previous videos, I've said this many times, this is a great spot for beginners to grind. You can start grinding here at around 80 AP, but my opinion is it becomes much more efficient after 120 AP and you've unlocked your Succession or Awakening. And if you're able to kill the elite mobs, which I recommend you do, you start making a lot more money per hour. I think this location can make about 40 mil an hour quite comfortably. And if you're not familiar with the rotation for Helms, I'll link one of my previous videos where I go over the rotation down in the description below. My next notable grind spot would be Gaha's Bandits. You'd want to come here after 175 AP, and you could easily make over 50 mil an hour if you have good pets and you're following the rotations well, as well as killing the elites on the way. The final spot I'd like to recommend is Bloodwolf Settlement. Now, you can start here at around 170 AP, but this spot can carry you all the way to 230 plus AP. The more AP you have, the more efficient you'll be, and the better you're at the rotations, the more you can expect per hour. When I was grinding here with a loot scroll, I was able to pull 70 mil an hour on average, and I've only used the loot scroll a few times just to test it out. I honestly don't like spending loot scrolls here. I'd recommend you save them for higher spots, but it's up to you. Section 3, Life Skills. Alright, time for the life skilling, guys. So life skilling is a big part of BDO, and there are people who do nothing but life skilling, and there's others who do nothing but combat. Whichever path you choose, it's fine. But just know, there's a long ramp up time in either way to making a lot of cash. The only thing which doesn't have that kind of ramp up time is probably doing scrolls, but in the long run, life skilling makes a ton of money. So whichever you choose, I would recommend the first thing you do is get a full set of Logia accessories. So we're here at Logia Farm, and I'm going to show you where you can buy them. And personally, I've enhanced my set to try. So you just talk to this NPC here and scroll down, and everything's 1 mil each. So I made the accessories to a try set, and that's more than enough for me. It's good because it gives you life skill XP, so this is something I definitely recommend you do. And the first thing we're going to go over is farming. As for farming, the link will be in the description below for the full explanation on how to do it. So I personally keep all my farms over here, and I place workers onto them. So the workers will take care of all the pruning and removing the pests, so your farms can keep growing without any interruption. If you're leveling up, you'd want to keep your workers off of it so you can do it manually, and that's where you get most of the experience. Now, to determine which is the best place to drop a farm, it depends on the crops you're growing. If you click the icon up over here, you can see the water supply, and if there's not enough water supply, you can manually water them as well. So doing farming is actually really good money. It nets me about 10 mil per harvest, and then my crops grow in a rate of 4 hour 15 minutes for each harvest. So I tend to do farming about 3 to 4 times a day, so I'm making about 30 to 40 mil every day. Combined with Imperial Cooking, that's a daily income of 60 to 70 mil, doing very little work. Like, guys, it is the easiest money you can get, and remember, if I'm making about 60 mil a day for an entire month, that's 1.8 billion silver. So It adds up really quick, and it's definitely something you guys should hit every day. So Imperial cooking is a good way to make daily cash, guys. I personally do professional boxes because it's the easiest for me to buy from the marketplace and directly turn into boxes. You don't have to cook your own food, just get it off the marketplace and it's still a good profit. Me, I make about 30 mil profit a day from doing this, and yeah, it's a good amount of money for something which is so little effort. You could even make all the boxes and store them in your storage and just run them to the NPC every day. You know, you can save a little bit more time doing that. I'll link the video of me explaining how to do Imperial cooking as well as farming down in the description below, and you guys can take a look if you need a little bit more in-depth explanation on how to do it. Now let's talk about gathering. So gathering's an interesting one. I can't give you a proper estimate on how much money you'll make in the beginning because there's multiple ways you can go about this, but at the higher end I've heard people with a very high energy level and gathering proficiency and mastery, they can make anywhere from 70 plus mil an hour, even 100 mil an hour, but that's at the very late stages. So in order to do gathering, I'd recommend you get at least a +2 gathering clothes and a Logia set of accessories and a magic hoe as your tool. And I'm going to show you how to level it up the quickest. So I use a spirit stone for my alchemy stone. If you have a better one, by all means use it. Otherwise this will do just fine because it gives you a good drop rate. And I use magic tools to level up, and specifically a magic hoe here. Now I also have a costume which you get this for free for leveling up your gathering. You can use a tailoring coupon to make it into a costume, so it gives you a little bit more XP. So once you have these, you'd want to come here to bear. So the reason is there's a huge cluster of herbs right around here, and it's the fastest way to level up from what I know. And you'd want to do this all the way till about master. I'm almost there, so I'm still working on it. So once you're at master, then you could probably go off and start doing some other stuff, or you can leave sooner, but I heard it was best to just power through the initial stages. So once you're here, once you have all your items sorted out, all you do is hit your food buff, so you have an extra gathering rate and XP, as well as your alchemy stone, and just start gathering these herbs. So also if you have a hedgehog pet, that really helps out, because what determines how much XP you're getting from gathering is the number of items that appear when you gather. So herbs are a really good place to do it because they drop a lot of stuff like here, so it's good XP. Now once you're done with your leveling phase and you want to make money, there's a few ways you can go about it, as I said. So one, you could go gather material which sell well and sell those for profit, or you can actually gather material which is useful for you when you're making some items or imperial cooking, you know, whatever you need to help other life skills make more money. So for example, one of my friends, he's doing guru cooking. Every day he gathers meat, so for his imperial boxes he needs meat. That's one of his items which is stopping him from mass producing. So those are important, as well as when I was upgrading my boat, I saved a lot of money and time by just gathering it myself, because the pre-orders weren't filling in. So while I was waiting for the pre-orders, I was just gathering the sap myself. So there's many ways you can do it. Now one final tip, guys, when you're here in Bear, you should get one of the houses as a residence. So you could put a storage container in here, so you can just bank all your items here and it'll go straight to Trent. So that really helps out. It'll save a lot of time. And when you're gathering here, the main items are all these herbs, but also these fruits of destruction, perfection, etc. You get Kaphra stones, petals, black gem fragments, and arcane spirit dust. So you do make a little bit of money while leveling up, but for the most part, I'm just here for the XP. Once I go to a different spot where I'm gathering like a specific item, like either wool or meat or something, that's when I start making a lot more money. And especially when you have high mastery, like say around 800 to 1000 plus mastery, that's when you really start seeing money come through. So make sure you get these up by getting better life skill gear. But for now, as I'm only leveling up, I didn't invest in those yet, so this is fine for me. AFK fishing is a great way to make some passive cash while you're either sleeping or away from the computer. So in order to do it, all you really need is a fishing rod and you can get started right away. So let's talk about the gear first. Personally, if you're starting off, I would recommend you get a Balanos fishing rod and enhance it to +10, and if you can use a brand on it, that also helps. But at the very least, try to get it to +6 or 7, and if you're enhancing it yourself, force it to 10. Enhancing just increases the durability of the rod, so as you can see, mine's +10, so it has 100 durability. Now I also use Logia accessories for more life XP, which my main has a tri-set. I should get one for this account as well, but I really don't mind. And also you should get silver fisher's clothes for the extra fishing ability. So I only have a +1 here, I really should get a +2. So if you have +2 and guild buffs, then you'll have a permanent +5 fishing buff at all times. So that's really useful to keep in mind. Now once you're ready to start fishing, just equip the rod and you'll see this interface. So get to a water area and all you have to do is hit space to start. Make sure you have do not board other adventurous ships ticked, so people can't come and kidnap you. And the higher your proficiency, the higher level of fish you can block. So this automatically discards these tiers of fishes. So since I'm only at apprentice, I can block the white fish, but once I get to professional, I can block green fish. Once I'm at artisan, I can block blue fish, and at master you can block yellow. So this really helps because when you're AFKing, it stops your inventory from getting completely filled up. So you won't need as much inventory space as you used to back in the old days when we didn't have this. So majority of your cash will be coming from high tier fish and relic crystals. So now let's talk about the places we can AFK fish for the best results. So if you want to maximize your relic crystal shard drops, the best place to be is the Tooth Fairy cabin. Now if you want to maximize your yellow fish drops, Velia Beach is a really good spot. Heidel's also a pretty good spot to AFK fish. So just try to find what works for you, where you can usually AFK. And I like to keep a separate account for AFK fishing. I find it a lot easier than taking my main. So do what works for you, and I hope this helps. Now in terms of money per night, you can honestly expect anywhere from 5 to 30 million per night, depending on your fishing proficiency and how lucky you are with drops, because it is RNG when you're relying on relic crystal shards. So it's hard to give you an exact number, but just know the more you do it, the higher your proficiency gets and the better the results are going to be. Section 4, workshops. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you the ultimate passive income. So workshops are one of those things that have been around for a long time and not too many people make use of them. So here's an example of how to get a workshop. So for example here, Altanova. Now I'll show you guys the wagon workshop. So you just scroll down here, find wagon. So it's this house here. So in order to get the wagon workshop, you have to unlock this and get all the prereq houses. Once you do, if you want to make the merchant wagon, you got to level it up to level 2. And once you do so, you need a worker and you need the materials required to make this wagon. So you get the materials required and you put them in your storage, and you have a worker work on top of this. So you just select your workshop and you can decide which worker to set on the node. So once you do so, it starts crafting the item. Now this item takes about 20 to 30 minutes to make, so every 20 to 30 minutes you'll have a merchant wagon to sell. So the merchant wagon sells for about 4 mil, and the items required to make it are like around 1 to 1.5 mil, so you're making about 2.5 to 3 mil in profit, right? So that's one of those examples of a quick turning item where you have to constantly replenish your supply and sell the items which are being crafted. So let's check the price. So a lot of people are doing this example, so be sure to find your own item that not many people are doing. So for example, with this one, it's selling for around 3.9 mil to 4 mil. That's pretty good. Now, next one I want to show you guys is the one in Tariff. Let's see. So this one I actually used to make my own anvils because I had the free-to-play campsite. Now I have the one from the cash shop, so I don't make these anymore, but this is a good one. This costs less than 2 mil in supplies, and I think it's even cheaper than that. And if you look at the cost of these sell for about 6 mil each. The Old Moon camping anvil, and there's always a bunch of orders on this. It takes about 19 hours to craft one, so you can reliably be making one a day, and that's almost, if you factor in the tax of the central marketplace, that's over 5 mil a day just for crafting these and selling them. So that's also one of those passive income things that you can just have running in the back. You just have to gather the material and put it into storage. Now for my final example, I'm going to show you guys the Etheria armor. So we can take the Dragon Prow as an example. The material required are quite easy to get. You can buy pretty much everything off the marketplace except for the designs. The designs you can get over here at Philosophy. You have to do a daily quest with him and you get one per day. You need a character of at least level 11 and it takes less than 5 minutes to do. So just park an alt here and just do it every day. For the remaining items, the black gold ingots cost about 55 mil for 50 of them off Central Marketplace. The golden pearl cost 5 mil. The pure lead crystals cost 1.5 mil. And the trace of chaos cost about 680k. So that's a total cost of 62.1 mil. And you can sell the Dragon Prow for 144 mil before tax. So that's a profit of over 75 mil. So that's almost 15 mil per day if you're doing the dailies every day and making one of these every 5 days. And that's also really good passive income because you can stockpile these materials a lot easier than the merchant wagon. That's something you have to do constantly, where this one you could just do once a week and you're good to go. So yeah, you can try out any of these items. You can check the marketplace and see how things are selling. For example, here, you can see what kind of items are selling right here. Or for example, let's see the Dragon Prow. Right, so the price of the Dragon Prow is 144 mil, and there's only one on the marketplace, which is a +6. So, you know, if you enhance it, they sell for more, so that's always an option. So take a look, guys, see what items are not overflowing on the marketplace and take advantage of what you find. These aren't the only ones out there. There's many different examples you can use, and you know, see what works for you, see what materials you can gather easily, and just take advantage of it. It's passive income. You have to do very little work. Just invest a little bit of time and let your money work for you. Section 5, Daily Routine. Now that we've seen the various methods to make money, I'm going to make an example of a daily routine with around 160 AP and 240 CP. Let's see how much money we can make. So on the screen you'll see my chart. The first thing I'd be taking into account is the Imperial cooking, which takes about 5 minutes, especially if you have the boxes already prepared like I do. So the money earned is going to be 30 million. Farming, 15 minutes. That's another 40 million, where one harvest is equal to around 10 mil. And you can do about 3 to 4 farm runs a day if you're active. Now let's take into account scrolls. I probably run scrolls for 2 hours. That's the most I could really do because I'd get burnt out. Now this is throughout the day or in one go, but on the low end, PILAFE scrolls net me around 80 mil an hour, even with 160 AP. So I'm gonna assume that's 160 mil. And then overnight of fishing, that's around 15 mil possibly. And the daily workshops where I'm making 1 anvil and 5 merchant wagons every day, that's going to be around 25 mil. So in total we made 270 mil, and this is with 2.5 to 3 hours of playtime. Of course, if you're more active than me, you can make a lot more money, but this is pretty much how a daily routine went for me for the first 2 to 3 months. So yeah, this could be really helpful to you guys. Just remember, the most important thing is consistency, just doing it every day. And if you're getting bored of scrolls or something, like I definitely had times when I got bored of it, so I didn't do it for a few days and I didn't make as much money, but it's okay. You know, you just got to do what makes you happy and what you can do, and just keep at it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a long time coming, I know. I've been talking about it forever. Now, if you have any tips you want to share with the others, please let us know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications. And if you want to support me, the best way to do so is to share this video with your friends. Also, if you're interested in my progress series, it'll be on the screen. Be sure to check it out. And stay tuned for my next video, which will be a superb guide to bartering. I'm going to make it so easy that anyone can understand and follow it. Within a week, you guys will be making 300 to 500 mil a day bartering just like me. So look forward to it. And once again, thanks guys. See you next time.